Hi, I'm Danielle Parrott, and this is a video about a kinesthetic activity students can do to work on building phylogenetic trees. A lot of times students see these on paper and it gets really confusing, but when they can touch it and play with it, they'll be able to figure it out. So this is my example of what will come out. Just using simple beads and pipe cleaners, students will be able to interpret those derived trait charts and build phylogenetic trees, just like this one. For this activity, you only need 4 simple materials: 4 long pipe cleaners of different colors, and then a 5th pipe cleaner that's only half as long. Then you'll need an orange bead, a silver or some neutral colored bead, a purple bead, a brownish bead, a white bead that are all stars, and then just basic pony beads, 1 yellow, 2 blue, 1 red, and 1 white. So this is enough materials either for one person or a pair. This is the chart of derived traits that students will use in order to build and complete their phylogenetic tree. The 5 species that are being classified are white bead, white star, purple star, orange star, and brown star. This is one of the charts that has pluses and minuses. And I did this because students tend to have a harder time interpreting the pluses and minuses than, say, for instance, if you used 1s and 0s. If you wanted to make your own charts with 1s and 0s, that could be easier. Okay, let's get to it. Now it's time to start making our tree. I give every student an actual card or printout on a piece of paper of the derived traits chart, and this is what they're going to work from as they build the tree. I will include a copy of this chart in the description below. On this card are all of the organisms and all of the traits: star shape, redness, yellowness, and blueness. So the first thing they need to do is determine which group is the outgroup. And on your chart, you can see that the white bead has none of the derived traits. So we know that that's going to be the outgroup. So what you'll do is you can grab any one of these and take your white bead, stick it on the end, and just fold that pipe cleaner over to secure it. It's important that while you're doing this activity, you don't tie any of the pipe cleaners too tight, because you're going to need to unwrap things sometimes and be able to move things around. So just remind your students not to wrap theirs too tight. Now, if they look at their chart again, they will see that another organism, the white star, it doesn't have blueness or yellowness or redness, but it does have a star shape. And so that's going to be our first derived trait. So I'm going to grab a new pipe cleaner, cross it over the bottom a little bit, maybe almost an inch up, and I just twist these around to, these ones you aren't going to pull apart, so you can twist those pretty good. Okay, so now we have our branched group, and I'm going to use the silver star, so to represent the trait starriness or star shape. So now you have your outgroup and you're beginning your in-group. So all the organisms that will come off of this line will all be stars. We will use our next pipe cleaner, and we want to be sure they're kind of the same distance along here. So I'm going to take this, and again, simply just fold it over once and maybe twist around to secure it a little bit loosely. Okay, and so now I have a bead that is both white and star-shaped coming off of here. And again, just a simple fold to secure it. When the student's trying to figure out which beads to add next, they can look at their chart and see that both the purple and orange stars have the starry trait. They also both have redness, yet the orange has yellowness and purple has blueness. So, because they both share starriness and they both share redness, we can think about adding redness as a derived trait. So, we'll take our red bead that represents redness and stick it on here. There we go. But as I said before, we're not going to have any red star. We have purple and orange. And so we will take our next pipe cleaner and pull it through. Let's see. And simply secure it. Okay, so now we have our tree with our outgroup, starriness, white star, redness, but again, there is no red star, so we are gonna have two different branches. We're gonna have an orange star because it has just derived yellowness. So let's take our yellow bead and put it down here. And putting that through both ends helps secure it. Then over here, we've got redness and blueness. So we take one of our blue beads and add it here for blueness. So now we have a trait that is star-shaped and red and blue, and red and blue make purple. So this is where we're going to put our star bead on here at the end and fold to secure it. Right? And that works out star, redness, blueness. Then we also saw that the orange star had star and redness, but it had yellowness, which we added, and now we can add our orange star. And fold it in half. Now we've got one star left, and that's the brown star. We see that the brown star has star shape, redness, yellowness, and blueness. So we'll have starness, redness, yellowness, and blueness. And because that is the case, we actually need to branch off of here and make blueness a derived trait. Then, an organism that has star-shaped redness, yellowness, and blueness is when we bring in our brownish bead and fold it over, because yellow plus blue plus red makes a nice yucky brown. We have a pretty brown here. And now here is your lovely phylogenetic tree. Another thing it's important to point out is that blueness here and blueness here derived separately. So these situations of blueness are a demonstration of convergent evolution, because they have blueness not because they have a shared blue common ancestor, they don't, but because blue, derived, and separate lineages. There are more things than just building the tree that you can do with this. You can look at what it means to be a clade, what it means to be sister species, and how to read and interpret these trees. So, if you ask a question, which of these species are most closely related to one another, they could see this ancestry relationship between our brown and orange stars. You could ask a question like, which star is more closely related to the white star? And this is a little bit tricky because both orange and brown are equally closely related. If you ask which star is most closely related to the white star, orange, brown, or purple, students, when it's set up like this, will often say orange because it actually is physically closer to the white star. However, they can see by physically touching and moving these sister species that really, depending on how you look at it, it's all a matter of perspective, that brown is equally closely related to white because their shared common ancestor is equally distant to the white star. You can do the same thing with any kind of rotation that you want, you can do, and students can see that relatedness and visualizing relatedness can be shown in various ways. I hope you enjoyed this video about how to build a phylogenetic tree. Don't forget, there is a link to the document with the derived traits chart in the description below. If you would like, share some comments below letting me know how it worked for you. I hope you can use this in your classroom. Thanks for watching this video about how to build. Don't forget, the derived traits chart is in a link. Don't forget the handout with the. Don't forget the derived traits chart handout. Derived traits chart.